The family group chat exploded with congratulations. My brother Marcus had shared screenshots of his Airbnb dashboard. My waterfront townhouse, fully booked through August, nightly rate $285, projected monthly income $8,547. Dad sent 3 fire emojis. Mom wrote, "Finally someone is using that property productively." My sister asked if she could list her referral link. I was sitting in my office downtown when the notifications started rolling in. Senior data analyst, corporate healthcare systems, salary $94,000. The townhouse was my first investment property, purchased 3 years ago for $340,000, now worth $485,000. I'd been renting it to a young teacher named Sophie for $1,650 per month, below market rate of $2,200 because she worked with special needs kids, and I remembered what starting salary felt like. Marcus had been calling it wasted potential for 2 years. "You're leaving $400 monthly on the table," he'd say at every family dinner. "That's lost revenue. Bad business." He worked in commercial real estate, made $130,000, drove a leased Range Rover, and treated our parents' praise like oxygen. I texted Sophie immediately, "Did something happen with the townhouse?" Her response came within seconds. "Your brother showed up yesterday with some guy. Said you approved an inspection for potential sale. I let them in. Was that wrong?" My hands went cold. I called Marcus. He answered on the 4th ring, voice casual, unbothered. "Hey, just handling some property management for you," he said. "You're clearly too busy to maximize the asset." "I'm helping." "You listed my townhouse on Airbnb? Temporarily relocated your tenant with proper notice. She's got 30 days. Found her a place in Kent, only $200 more monthly. This is business, not charity." The call ended. I sat there for 47 seconds, phone in hand, watching the group chat continue celebrating Marcus's entrepreneurial initiative. Then I opened my HOA management portal. The ghost ledger. I'd bought the townhouse specifically because Sophie needed housing. Marcus had called that decision emotional real estate, his term for any investment that prioritized people over profit margins. He'd made a spreadsheet showing my opportunity cost, $6,600 annually in below-market rent, compounding to $33,000 over 5 years. What he couldn't spreadsheet: Sophie's thank you card when I approved her application despite her credit score being 70 points below standard. Cost of mercy, incalculable. The classroom photos she'd send me, her students' artwork, their faces, their progress. Evidence that $1,650 monthly was changing lives beyond just hers. Cost of that impact, unmeasurable. Every family dinner where Marcus presented his real estate lectures. Tenants aren't friends. Properties aren't feelings. Revenue is the only metric that matters. Cost of sitting through that philosophy. My patience never refilled. Mom's repeated question, "Why can't you be more like your brother?" Cost, confidence erosion, years of it compounding. The day Marcus toured my townhouse without permission, called it underutilized, and said he'd fix my mistakes if I wouldn't. Cost, boundaries violated, respect deleted. Now he'd created an Airbnb listing, uploaded my interior photos, written descriptions of my amenities, and displaced a tenant I'd chosen carefully. He'd monetized my property, my decisions, my values, and the family was celebrating. The ghost ledger balanced at zero financial cost. But the emotional accounting showed a deficit I'd been carrying for years. The revelation. I logged into the Beacon Shores HOA management system. Our community had strict short-term rental policies. I'd read the CC and RS carefully before purchasing. The rules were explicit. No rentals under 6 months without written HOA board approval, $500 daily fine for violations, mandatory eviction proceedings for unauthorized commercial use. Marcus's Airbnb listing had been live for 6 days. I downloaded the listing screenshots, timestamped them, and composed an email to Melissa Rodriguez, our HOA property manager. Subject line: Unauthorized short-term rental violation Unit 847. Her response came in 14 minutes. "We've already flagged this listing. Our automated monitoring system scans rental platforms weekly. Your unit appeared in yesterday's sweep. We've documented the violation and are preparing formal notice. The board meets Thursday. This will be addressed. I stared at that email. Melissa had no idea about the family dynamics, the years of dismissal, the ghost ledger. She was just doing her job, enforcing rules that protected property values and community standards. But her competence, her systematic process, was about to dismantle Marcus's entire scheme. The family group chat continued its celebration. My sister posted, "Marcus is showing us all how real estate actually works. Dad, proud of you, son. Real business thinking." Nobody asked if I'd authorized the listing. Nobody questioned whether displacing Sophie was ethical. They just saw the revenue projections and decided Marcus was right. The HOA moved faster than I expected. Wednesday morning, a certified letter arrived at the townhouse, addressed to me as the owner, but Marcus had apparently given Sophie's forwarding address as his own temporary residence to manage the transition. He posted a photo of the envelope in the family chat with laughing emojis. HOA fee reminder probably. I'll handle it. He didn't open it on camera. Thursday evening my phone rang. Marcus. His voice had changed, higher, faster, defensive. Did you report me to the HOA? I didn't have to. They monitor rental listings. It's in the CC and RS you didn't read. You're sabotaging me. I'm trying to help you make actual money and you displaced my tenant, listed my property without permission, and committed HOA violation carrying $500 daily in fines. That's $3,000 so far. The board meeting is tonight. Silence. Then, you're going to the meeting? I'm the property owner. Of course I'm going. Internal reflection. There's a philosophy about family I'd believed for 32 years. Blood creates obligation and obligation requires tolerance. You tolerate the dismissal, the condescension, the boundary violations, because they're family and family is supposed to matter more than dignity. Marcus had operated under a different philosophy, family hierarchy theory. In his framework, success was measured in salary and portfolio value. He made $130,000 to my $94,000, drove a Range Rover to my Honda Civic, closed commercial deals while I analyzed healthcare data. Therefore, his judgment superseded mine. His decisions corrected my mistakes. His intervention in my property was help, not violation. The family had accepted this framework completely. When Marcus spoke about real estate, they listened. When I explained my reasoning for below-market rent, they smiled politely and changed the subject. But sitting in my car outside the HOA community center, I realized something fundamental. Institutions don't care about family hierarchy. They care about ownership, documentation, compliance. The HOA didn't need to know Marcus made more money than me. They just needed to know whose name was on the deed. There's a clarity in that. A kind of justice that doesn't require the offender to understand, apologize, or change. The system simply operates. Cause, effect, consequence. I'd spent years trying to explain my choices to Marcus. The emotional labor of justifying why I charged Sophie $1,650 instead of $2,200. The exhausting defense of my inefficient compassion. The constant erosion of confidence when family consensus declared me wrong. But when procedural systems engage, HOA compliance, covenant enforcement, property law, none of that narrative matters. The only questions are, did he violate the rules? Yes. Do the consequences apply? Yes. I walked into the community center at 6:58 p.m. Procedural justice. The Beacon Shores HOA board met in the conference room. 7 board members, Melissa Rodriguez with her tablet and documentation, and an attorney named Patricia Ng who specialized in covenant enforcement. Marcus showed up wearing his real estate broker blazer. Mom and Dad came too, for support, they said, though I wasn't sure for whom. Melissa presented first. Calm, thorough, devastating. Unit 847, owned by Claire Whitman. On May 15, our monitoring system detected an active Airbnb listing for this address. The listing shows 62 nights booked through August 30th, nightly rate $285, total projected revenue $17,670. The property is zoned residential long-term rental only. CC&R Section 4.7 explicitly prohibits rentals under 6 months without written board approval. No such approval was requested or granted. She displayed screenshots. Marcus's listing, his welcome message to guests, his house rules, his cancellation policy. Each image appeared on the projection screen, time-stamped, documented, undeniable. The listing was created by Marcus Whitman, the owner's brother, using his personal Airbnb account. He has processed 3 bookings already. Guests checked in May 16, May 19, and May 22. We have entry log records from building security. Board President Gerald Hutchins reviewed the evidence. Retired attorney, 71 years old, famous for his adherence to procedure. Ms. Whitman, did you authorize this rental activity? No, sir. I have a long-term tenant, Sophie Chin, lease agreement through March 2026 at $1,650 monthly. My brother accessed the property without my permission, pressured my tenant to relocate, and created this listing without my knowledge. Marcus stood up. I was helping her maximize. Sit down, Gerald said. Not loud. Not emotional. Just absolute. You're not the property owner. You have no standing in this proceeding. Patricia Ng, the attorney, spoke next. The violation has been active for 6 days at time of discovery. CC&R Section 4.7 specifies $500 daily penalties. Current total $3,000. Additionally, Section 8.2 requires immediate cessation of unauthorized commercial activity. Failure to comply within 48 hours triggers additional penalties of $1,000 daily and potential legal action to compel compliance. She slid a document across the table. This is the formal violation notice. Ms. Whitman, as the owner, you're legally responsible for ensuring compliance. All current reservations must be cancelled. All future bookings must be removed. The unit must return to authorized use only. Marcus's face had gone from defensive to pale. Those guests have already paid. I'll have to refund, That's your problem, Gerald said. The HOA's concern is covenant compliance. You have 48 hours. Mom tried to intervene. This seems excessive for a misunderstanding. This is property fraud, Mrs. Whitman, Patricia said. Your son accessed a property he doesn't own, displaced a legal tenant, and operated a commercial business in violation of recorded covenants. The HOA is being generous by not pursuing immediate legal action. If Ms. Whitman wanted to press charges for unauthorized access and fraud, she'd have grounds. The room went silent. I watched Marcus's expression shift, confusion, then anger, then something that looked almost like fear. This wasn't a family dinner where charm and salary comparisons could redirect the conversation. This was institutional authority, operating exactly as designed. Gerald Hutchins looked at me. Ms. Whitman, do you wish to pursue criminal charges against your brother? The question hung in the air. Mom's sharp intake of breath. Dad's hand on Marcus's shoulder. My sister in the back row phoned down for the first time all evening. Not at this time, I said. I want compliance with HOA rules, compensation for my tenant's relocation costs, and assurance this won't happen again. Noted, Gerald said. He turned to Marcus. You're fortunate your sister is more generous than the law requires. The board votes to impose the $3,000 fine, require immediate cessation of all unauthorized rental activity, and flag Unit 847 for enhanced monitoring for 12 months. Any future violation will result in immediate legal action without warning period. This meeting is adjourned. Vescade. Marcus canceled the Airbnb listing at 11:47 p.m. that night. I know because the guest he'd already booked started contacting me. The property owner name was on the deed, easily found through public records. They wanted explanations, refunds, compensation for canceled vacation plans. His passive income became $3,000 in HOA fines paid within 72 hours. $4,815 in Airbnb refunds for canceled reservations. $2,200 paid to Sophie Chin for relocation costs and emotional distress. My attorney's demand letter, which she accepted gratefully. $1,500 in attorney fees when he tried to argue the HOA penalties were unfair. Total cost of his entrepreneurial initiative, $11,515. But the procedural consequences went deeper. Melissa Rodriguez sent a report to the Washington State Real Estate Commission. Marcus held a broker's license. Unauthorized property listings, displacement of legal tenants, and HOA fraud violations weren't just civil matters. They were potential licensing issues. The commission opened an investigation on June 3rd. Marcus received the notification letter while having dinner with our parents. Dad called me immediately. "Do you know what you've done to your brother's career?" "I didn't do anything," I said. "The HOA enforced their rules. The commission enforces theirs. Systems work when people follow procedures." "You reported him." "The HOA's automated monitoring caught the listing. The commission reviews all covenant violations involving licensed brokers. Marcus created this situation when he committed fraud." Mom got on the phone. "He was trying to help you. He displaced my tenant, violated my HOA covenants, and cost me $3,000 in fines. That's not help. That's crime." The family group chat went quiet for 6 weeks after the HOA meeting. Then Mom tried to organize a reconciliation dinner. "It's been long enough. Marcus made a mistake. You've made your point." I declined. Dad called. "You're going to hold this grudge forever?" "It's not a grudge," I said. "It's a boundary. Marcus committed fraud, cost me thousands, displaced my tenant, and violated my property rights. The family celebrated all of it until the HOA intervened. I'm not interested in pretending that's forgivable just because time passed. He's your brother. And I'm the person whose property he fraudulently listed. Those facts don't cancel each other out." The resolution. Sophie moved back into the townhouse on June 12th. I'd kept her lease active, paid her relocation costs, and apologized for my brother's actions. She brought me a card her students had made. Construction paper, glitter, 23 signatures in crayon. "Thank you for our teacher's home." I hung it in my office. Marcus's real estate license investigation concluded in August. No suspension, but a formal reprimand on his record and mandatory ethics training. His brokerage saw the report. He wasn't fired, but his advancement track stalled. The managing partner mentioned concerns about judgment. I haven't spoken to Marcus in 8 months. The HOA monitoring period ends next April. Sophie's students sent me another card in December. Holiday-themed, still glitter-covered, still displayed in my office. The townhouse is worth $492,000 now. I still rent it to Sophie for $1,650 monthly. Marcus would call that bad business, wasted revenue, emotional real estate. I call it the most profitable investment I've ever made. The systems worked. The procedures held. The boundaries stayed intact. And I finally stopped keeping the ghost ledger, because the official records documented everything that mattered.